So what I wanted to do, guys, is when I wanted to manually slew with my Mach 2 mount and not use any of the go-to features or the motor, instead of pushing on the eyepiece draw tube end, I wanted to come up with an arm, kind of like a tangent arm that could come off the mount, and I could use it then to maneuver the scope around without pushing then again on the draw tube and eyepiece end. So I came up with this simple solution using about a $10 plate from Amazon, and then just getting some aluminum stock, which was 3/4 inches wide by 1/2 inch thick. Now my original thought was to go with some round stock, but then after more thought I just went with this rectangular aluminum. So let's take a look at this. This is an extra one that I bought, and you can see it's got multiple slots, holes. Some are tapped, some aren't. And then on the other end, you can see that it has 3 tapped holes, which is what I liked, 1/4-20s. Because I wanted something that was simple. Anybody could do this. This doesn't look bad. It's got holes, but it doesn't look bad at all. It's anodized, looks nice, and it comes with an Allen wrench and several other bolts and stuff that I don't need. Here you see it on Amazon, which is where I bought it. That's what it's called. Next we'll take the telescope off and I'll show you how I anchored it. But you'll see here that I have these 2 nylon pieces here, which abut up to the saddle, and that keeps it parallel. And it worked out just fine putting an acorn nut on here. It didn't hit on top of the plate that the 130 is attached to. And so now when I take this off with basically just one bolt to put it back on, I just push these 2 nylon bushings up against the saddles there, and then tighten it down, and that lines it up. Real simple. So originally I had this arm, instead of mounted up there, I had it mounted down here, and it would work great, except it was close to these connectors, and I thought if it ever slipped, or if when I was putting it on it moved, and it would crack these or do something. So that's why I opted to stay away from this area down here and move it up to the front there, which the only thing it would cause then is having to have a longer arm. So you can see that the hole that I'm using is this last one on the dovetail plate, and then I use the 1 tapped hole that's on this plate that I got from Amazon. Now the downside is that this is covered up when your telescope's on it. So if for some reason you'd want to take this off and go back to slewing with the motors, then you'd either have to take the telescope back off, or come over here and take these 2 bolts off and just leave that on until you're done with the session. But and another thing you want to be careful of is Always make sure, if you keep this arm on and you're slewing automatically, make sure this thing isn't going to hit anywhere on the mount. So I know with the setup I have here, I'm okay with all that. So we're going to take a look at this. And the spacers that I used were from Hillman. You get 2 per bag. They're 5/8 by 1/4 inch inside diameter by 3/8 tall. So the OD is 5/8 of an inch. The center hole's 1/4 inch. And the height, the thickness, is 3/8 of an inch. And the cost for a bag with 2 pieces in it was $1.15. Alright, so let's take a close-up look of what I did here. So here's that plate from Amazon. And remember I said that it had those 3 tapped holes? Well, that worked to my favor. I had very little to do here because this was already tapped, everything I needed. All I had to do was get the center line of the 2 outside holes, then transfer that to this aluminum stock, drill it 1/4 inch diameter hole, then take my socket head cap screws with a washer, tighten it down. Now we're there. The next thing was I wanted to, when I put this on every time, I didn't want to have to align it. So I put this on and used a square and made sure this edge was 90 degrees to my saddle. Then I put these bushings on, then using socketed cap screws, and it worked out perfect that the acorn nuts acted as the nut, and I cranked these down in the proper position. So now when I go to put this back on, these 2 bushings line me up so that I'm perpendicular to the well, this edge is perpendicular to the saddle, and that we're parallel with this to the saddle. And then I just take this and tighten it down with this bolt, and we're good to go. Real simple. Now your mount may be different, but this gives you an idea what you can do, and it just takes a little bit of thought to how you want to adapt something like this to your mount. There's so many different saddles and mounts out there, you know, you just got to kind of use your imagination.